Hello, Sunday Fantasy Football fans. It's Johnny Utah coming at you with a Week 2 update. And we had it's Week 2. Let's not overreact too much about this. But I'll start out by saying, we continue to be surprised by some of the revelations that occur, some notable injuries that I'll get to in just a moment. But I'll start out with congratulations to the remaining undefeated teams in the league. We have, looking at the standings here, in the East Division, the number one spot, Jackie Galloway, Showtime 15, 2-0, and most points in the league, I believe. So congratulations to Jackie. We kind of looked at her roster initially, and you may have said, hey, all the backups at certain positions other than running back, receiver, that you may question to a certain extent. But right now, her starting lineup is killing it. Patrick Mahomes is killing it. Mahomes is killing it, as he has proven that last year was not a fluke. So congratulations to her. Then you've got myself, Johnny Utah, also in the East Division, in the second place of the East Division, 2-0. In second, due to the points that have been scored thus far through 2 weeks. Then in the West Division, Shane Falco. I love that name, by the way. If I wasn't Johnny Utah, which, if you think about it, Johnny Utah and Shane Falco, it's kind of the same dude. Keanu Reeves, phenomenal. So, I'm always going to root for Shane Falco just because of that. He's the only undefeated team in the West, so we have 3 undefeated teams going in. And then in terms of teams that have yet to win a game, in the East Division, it's Shack Attack winners, which might be a little bit shocking, but it's only week 2. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if somehow Shaq ends up with 7 or 8 wins, makes the playoffs, and makes us all pay for it come playoff time. So don't sleep on him just yet. I know this guy very well. So he's going to do the work. He's going to study. He's going to figure it out. Then in the West Division, we have 2 teams yet to win a game. Another somewhat surprise, the defending champion Tex-Mex. Maybe you should have auto-drafted again. Not to, make any hot takes here, but just saying, last year you did pretty well. But, again, a lot of season to play. And then you've got clueless Shannon at 0-2. But, again, I'm not going to take too much away from this. Whether you're 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, there's still a lot of ball to be played. And there's going to be a lot of significant things that occur throughout this season, whether it be injuries, trades, people getting suspended. Who knows? You can't predict that. So you know what? The best you can, you try and set your lineup each week, give you the best opportunity to win on a week-to-week basis. So let's go look at the scoreboard from last week. So I beat Shack Attack winners. The Patriots defense pretty much did it by itself because I had a couple players that didn't show up. But when your defense scores 41 or 43 points, it's going to put you in a pretty good position to get a victory. And so, and granted, Shaq didn't have the best week from his team. So the Patriots defense really gave me the assist there. Jackie beat Kim behind another stellar performance by Patrick Mahomes. Totally justifying the first round pick. He's still delivering and doing a great job there, carrying her team. Brad beat Tex-Mex. And again, Tex-Mex dropped Baker Mayfield. I picked him up, although he didn't, 17.5 points, so it's not like he lit it up week 2. I ended up having to start him because I have Jameis Winston, who's struggled in his own right. But I will say, you started Drew Brees and he got injured. Of course, who would have saw that? The guy's not traditionally been injured much during his career. You couldn't have saw that coming, so you just got to kind of feel bad when your starting quarterback goes out when he has negative 0.5 points. It's not going to leave you many opportunities to win this week or that particular week. So, and then Russell Wilson actually had a pretty solid game, bouncing back from the week 1 where they barely beat Cincy. Russ has a great performance on the road at Pittsburgh and comes through for Brad, and Brad gets the win. Mama in Motion, Missy, Dak, another great game. I mean, can he keep this up with their new offensive coordinator? With their kind of pseudo new offense that they've implemented, Dak has looked tremendous. So if that keeps up, That's going to do a lot for her as we move forward week to week. Despite the fact that, Tex-Mex had Lamar Jackson, who in his own right has been lighting it up and looks like he is trending toward being a week-to-week start no matter who the matchup. He's matchup proof. I think you're going to start him regardless until he proves you otherwise, because he didn't rush at all the first week. He had over 100 yards rushing the second week, including some bombs that he had the first week. So he's been phenomenal. Shane Falco beats Rich. Aaron Jones comes through. Austin Eckler, Eckler shines again in kind of the shadow of Melvin Gordon, who has yet to return or sign with any team. So Austin Eckler has put together back-to-back great weeks, and now once Aaron Jones got it rolling, Shane Falco was in a great spot that week against Rich. And then the game of the week, Lisa Shokowski, Stairway to 7, beats Shannon Clueless by 0.7 points. And this is despite Shannon having Zeke, and Dalvin Cook, who combined for 40 points, which is huge. If your two starting running backs score 40 points, I would say you'd sign up for that every week and probably expect to win. So I haven't looked closely at the rest of her roster, what they particularly did, but Lisa won by 0.7 points, so it was a nail-biter. And so they get game of the week. Stairway to 7 wins by 7 points. Great effort by Clueless. And hopefully if Zeke and Cook continue to do that, you're not going to come up short by 0.7 many times, I would suspect. So looking back, I think we all watched Cam Newton and the Panthers struggle again. I don't know. I was high on him coming into the year. He was supposedly healthy, but now he's missed yesterday and today's practice. So now I've got a good bit of concern going forward about his availability and or ability to put significant points on the board from a fantasy perspective. So we'll continue to monitor that. Then you've got some significant injuries that I don't know if it's going to send you to panic mode just yet, but if you have fantasy players on the Steelers, the Jags, the Jets, the Saints, they all lost their starting quarterbacks, although Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers is out for the year. So we'll continue to see as this season goes on what sort of impact or long-term implications this has for Juju Smith-Schuster, as well as like James Conner. Mason Rudolph's their backup. He's out of Oklahoma State. He's a second-year guy. He was drafted third round, so he's got some potential, I think many believe. So, but we don't know what this offense is quite going to look like. Who knows? Maybe it's an upgrade, but it remains to be seen. We'll see how that plays out. The Jets lose Sam Darnold to mononucleosis, which I think we're all kind of like, isn't that a kid's disease or something? Or you get in college when you drink too much and you don't sleep enough. But we'll see what happens there. He's out. I think they're talking about week 5 return for him. Then Drew Brees, 6 to 8 weeks, apparently has a thumb injury. That's kind of implications to a lot of the Saints players. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and some of their ancillary or peripheral, I guess, their other weapons that they have on that team. They go up to Seattle. Probably not ideal, your first game without Drew Brees, although they did play a good portion of last week without Drew Brees. But we'll see what they can do up there. And Jacksonville, they had Garner Minshew, which just loving the guy. He's very eclectic. He's got like this porn star style to him. If you saw his picture when he got off the plane in Houston, they actually beat Houston with Garner Minshew. It was an ugly game. Don't get me wrong. There wasn't a lot of fantasy points to go around in that particular game. I think it was 13 to 10, 12 to 10 or something, 16, 13, something ridiculous. But we'll see what happens. Jalen Ramsey did request a trade. He's their best defensive player, so we'll monitor that impact from both a defensive and a team overall perspective. So, and then I wanted to share something with you guys, and I'll wrap this up because I had some feedback from some folks. These videos are getting just a tad too long, and I get a little long-winded at times, so we'll try and keep these to about 10 minutes, so I'll try and wrap this up quick. You'll be interested to see, and you can go out and find this on the internet, the top points per game scores through 2 weeks in fantasy football, it's a little bit mind-boggling. Lamar Jackson, number 1. Austin Eckler, number 2. Dak Prescott, number 3. Patrick Mahomes, number 4. That's not surprising. That's the only one. I expected him to be number 1, to be honest with you. Sammy Watkins, number 5. John Ross from Cincinnati, number 6. I think he scored more points year-to-date through 2 weeks of football than in his prior 3 years combined, which is kind of scary. So maybe they can put that ridiculous speed he has to some use for, on a season-long basis. Dalvin Cook, Tom Brady, and Christian McCaffrey rounds out the top 10 points per game through 2 weeks in fantasy football, and that's based on a PPR format. So anyways, just want to share some thoughts, impressions, recap quickly of what happened. We have football starting again tomorrow night and then throughout Sunday and Monday. So everyone, watch that waiver wire. Look at your lineups. There's some injury concerns we got to keep a close eye on to see what implications those may have. But anyways, happy to be here again, sharing an update with you guys. Love you guys. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you again soon.